Okay, so hey y'all, my daughter's video got deleted, so I had to re-record the story all over again. So for my daughter, I had made like a mini TikTok of the experience until I got to the hospital, so I'll insert that so y'all can see it before I even tell the story. So now that brings us to my daughter. I had my daughter April 16th, 2023. So for her, like I said, I knew I didn't want to go back to the same doctor I had with my son because I didn't like the experience at all. So for my daughter, I decided I'm going to call that same hospital and I just want a different doctor. Funny enough, they told me I couldn't switch doctors. If I wanted to still go to that hospital, I had to go to the same doctor. Even after I explained them my situation and my experience and everything like that, they did not care. They said I couldn't go to that hospital and go to a different doctor. So that was difficult for me because that was the hospital. I knew a lot of people personally that went to that hospital, so I was more comfortable with that. But I refused to go back to that same doctor, so I just had to. So I did research and everything this time to find a better doctor, which I did at the other hospital. And that experience was way better. The doctor cared way more. I felt like I had more of a relationship with them. For my daughter, I started my pregnancy off with high blood pressure. Mind you, it's probably because I had them back to back. I got pregnant with my daughter when my son was 6 months. So I think the high blood pressure kind of was still there from that. And so with my daughter, they had already told me I had to be induced around no later than 39 weeks. So I chose to do it the furthest I could. Like I chose to wait the furthest I could. So for my daughter, I had to get induced at 39 weeks. Her due date was April 19th, but I scheduled to get induced April 16th, and we had to check in at 5 that morning. So we had a plan that we was gonna wake up early, go eat at Waffle House beforehand, since I didn't eat with my son and everything, but everything changed. So midnight on that same day, my water ended up breaking. I woke up at midnight thinking I had to pee. I sat up and it just started gushing out. So I woke my man up. I'm like, my water just broke. Mind you, I had a scare the week before. So he like, are you sure this time? And I was like, yeah, I know for sure because it's not stopping. Like it didn't matter how hard you tried to squeeze to hold it in, it was just coming out. And I ran to the bathroom, yeah, a whole trail. So I was still tracking my contractions on my contraction timer, and everything was already at the door, packed and ready to go. So we grabbed everything. Bought my son by my grandma the night before, just because we were supposed to leave out at 5 that morning, which I'm happy we did because my water ended up breaking even earlier. So once we got to the hospital, I got my wheelchair because I didn't want to walk because it was just steady coming out and I didn't want it to be like that. So I have thin rolling veins. So once I got to the room, it was hard for them to find my vein to start my IV. And mind you, you can't get epidural or nothing until you start your IV. So it took 3 nurses. They came in. None of them could find my veins. So the anesthesiologist that gave me the epidural, he actually had to come in and find my vein just for my IV. So then they was able to draw my labs, and I had to wait for my labs to come back so I get my epidural. So once I was at like 5.5 centimeters, I decided to get my epidural. I didn't have no complications with that, and this time my man was able to stay in the room. They just made my mama leave. So once I got my epidural, they ended up giving me Pitocin because I was dilating too slow. So I still ended up getting Pitocin even though my water broke. And they said that my daughter needs to and more positioned in the middle. So they told me I had to put a peanut ball in between my legs. I had to lay on my left, put the peanut ball in between my legs for, I think it was like 45 minutes, and then she'll come in, check, and switch me to the right side with the peanut ball. So this was the peanut ball I had to use, and this was whenever I was on the right side before she switched me. She's saying, like, if you feel like you have to poo, let me know, because that means it's time to push. And I'm telling her, she's like, oh, you're going to feel like you have to poo when it's time to push. And I'm like, based on my last experience, I didn't feel nothing, so I don't think I'm going to be able to tell you whenever, you know, I'm not going to get that feeling like I have to poo. She didn't want to believe me, so she wasn't really checking me on the regular. So after 45 minutes, she came to switch the peanut ball so I could switch to the other side. So she took the peanut ball from in between my legs, put that to the side, and then she went and got the other pad so she could change the pad underneath me. And mind you, at this time, I'm on FaceTime with my sister-in-law and all that, just chilling. So she went and got the pad and put it back under me. And before she could even finish, she's like, oh, the baby's here. So we all confused, like, what you mean? Because mind you, I didn't push or nothing. My daughter had already came out. Like, she was basically already out without me pushing, without nobody knowing or nothing. So she called all the doctors in and everything. And, of course, everybody had messed up. Like, this baby really just came out without me pushing. I didn't tear. It was just really easy. But it was kind of scary. Everything happened so fast that my sister-in-law even seen stuff she wasn't trying to see because it was in the middle of FaceTime. So everything went great with her. She didn't have any complications or anything. So we was able to go to the mother-baby room. Since it wasn't COVID, my mom was able to come up with us. We was able to have visitors. Everything went just how I wanted. I was able to experience my water breaking. I didn't tear, didn't have to push, easy birth. I got there at probably 12:30 and she came at 8:30, so it was only 8 hours labor. And she was able to come to the room with us. We didn't have to worry about NICU. And when we got discharged after 2 days, she came with us. So it was just great, and it was a great experience. I would definitely go to that hospital again rather than where I had my son. This is when my baby was first born.
So disgusting. She made him a popsicle to announce.
And this is when her big brother first came to the hospital to see her. So yeah, that's my labor and delivery story with both of my kids. I'm a mom of 2 under 2. Who would have thought? Thank y'all so much for watching. Stay tuned for tomorrow. See y'all later.